Hello, good morning, and thank you for listening and following along. Had some thoughts this morning about self-worth and about how we think of ourselves. And I want to put this out to you. You've already won the lottery. Now, what do I mean by that? Oh gosh, my mind is going every direction. We have, I think, a lot of us suffer from self-limiting beliefs. And it's because it takes, I've heard anywhere from 10 all the way up to 17 positive reinforcements to combat one negative comment that someone makes or whatever about ourselves. And do we live in a world that is 17 to 1 positive to negative ratio? I don't think so. In fact, I know so. We don't. And so what happens if we don't control that on the inside? Our external circumstances dictate our lives and who we are and how we think and what we think of ourselves. I've got a son going through this right now. He's a little short, bless his heart. He's getting to his growth spurt, as we like to say. It's coming, it's right around the corner, hang in there. And he's suffering right now from a lot of limiting self-beliefs. He has a lot of friends that are moving on and things. He feels like he's left behind, and there's a bunch of factors. I'm not going to get into all of it right now, but maybe you feel something. He's in high school, but it doesn't matter. I mean, you might be 40, 50 years old and still have self-limiting beliefs because you compare yourselves to others. You feel like, well, I should be there, but I'm here. And what happens is that we expand into our own thinking. So we grow into the mold. Like, if you've ever made chocolates or something, you have a mold and you pour it into there and it fills up that space. Well, that space is our thinking. And if that's limited, and if that's ugly, and it's whatever that is, that's who you become, because you're going to fill yourself into that mold of thinking. And yet, we don't learn it in school. There's no formal education. We don't learn how to think. We're just expected to figure it out on our own. And a lot of us just don't, for whatever reason. We go through life, and life can be hard, and maybe we're a little overweight. Maybe we don't talk well, or maybe we don't learn as easily as other people, or maybe we're not fast, maybe we're too slow, or maybe we just don't, I don't know, we don't feel as smart as other people. Or have you ever heard of imposter syndrome? I feel like you're about to be discovered any day now, that you don't know as much as everybody thinks, or that you have, faked everybody out. Anyways, that one day that somebody will call you out, imposter. So we have these self-limiting beliefs that plague us. They kind of attach to us like barnacles on a ship, and over time, it slows the ship down, and it bogs the ship down. And thought by thought, limited belief by limited belief, that's how we go. And those barnacles add up, and they make a huge difference over the long run. So I guess what I wanted to say was, given all of that, I want to tell you, if you were right here with me, and I could just look right in your eyes, and I can't because I'm driving and I'm being a good, safe driver, even though I'm talking to you, if I could, I would sit you down and say, you are absolutely a miracle. I mean, you think of what it took to put you together. I mean, what were the odds that you would happen exactly the way that you did? Almost zero. Well, I don't even want to say almost zero. It took a miracle to make you the way that you are. I mean, our eye cells regenerate every 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks or 2 days? I just learned this morning. Our cells regenerate, our whole body, everything. So it's like you get a whole new set of eyes every, 2 days or 2 weeks. But you're made up of billions of cells, and it's energy, and it's constantly rejuvenating and returning and changing and evolving and growing. And there's this thing called neuroimmuno. I can't remember. I'm not a doctor, but it's the power of your mind to heal yourself. And there's all this research being done now that supports the power of the mind. And just right here is a miracle, but the rest of you, I mean, okay, so maybe you're ugly, maybe you're overweight, maybe you're this or you're that, but you know what? If you look past the shell and you see your heart and what's going on inside and what it took to make you happen, you've won the lottery. Just by waking up every day, being alive is absolutely a miracle. So what do you do with that time? That's what matters. Who cares? I've seen a lot of really, really successful people who are fat and ugly, and they have scars, and they have, defects. I've seen people in wheelchairs that can change people's lives. I've seen it all, and I'm sure you have too. It doesn't matter. It's what you do with those limitations that matters. It's how you react and how you allow those limitations, that mold, to contain you into something much smaller than you're supposed to be. That's what matters. So what are you doing with this miracle that's you? And what's going on inside? What types of thoughts are you having about yourself? And are you living your full potential? Are you living up to what you know you can do deep down inside, what you're capable of as a miracle, as a miraculous, living, walking, talking human being with DNA and energy, full of energy and billions of cells? And what are you doing with that assemblage of coincidences that makes up what is you? Powerful stuff. So once you come to realize your self-worth, how valuable you are, I think it's a natural progression for your actions to reflect that, and you start doing things different. But it starts with that belief. You've got to change the core belief about who you are and how great of a miracle you truly are. So if you don't believe yourself, if you don't believe anyone else, if no one's telling you this, if you're not getting it at school, if you're being picked on or whatever, flag this video and let me tell you. And you and I can be friends via YouTube. I wish that we could talk in person, but let me tell you that you're absolutely a miracle, that God has created you unique to anyone else out there. And it's a miracle that your life even happened in the first place. There's all this science that talks about the Big Bang Theory and how there was an explosion and everything just kind of happened. I just can't buy that. I can't believe that there was so great of a coincidence that I've heard somebody make the analogy that imagine if there's an explosion at a printing press and the Webster's Dictionary came out of it. What are the odds of that happening? Well, that to me is about the same way of thinking. There's an explosion and all of a sudden there's life and there's earth and there's human beings and there's intelligence with spirits and with feelings and emotions and brains and cells and all this phenomenal stuff that humans are capable of achieving, and people say there's no God. I just can't buy that. You are a miracle. You're from God. God created you the way that you are, and you've got to go take what you have, this bag of mixed crazy that I call it, that you've got, good and bad, right? Everybody's got craziness in our mixed bag that we're given when we're born. We don't have any control over that. We do have control over what we do with it. And I challenge you to go out and do something phenomenal with your life, to change your belief systems, to start today. Use meditation and affirmations if you have to. Sit down and start telling yourself a different narrative, a different story than what you've told yourself in the past. Get unstuck from where you are by starting right here, letting it filter down into your soul and become a different person than you've believed about yourself in the past. And then let your actions follow. That confidence will ooze. People will notice it. The right people will start showing up in your lives. Mentors will show up helping you when you're right. When the student is ready, the teacher appears. Those types of things are all real. There's an energy in this universe. What goes out comes back in good. You've got to give, and you've got to give, and you've got to give. You've got to believe in yourself to make it all happen. Anyways, thanks for listening. I think you're amazing. I think you're a miracle. A miracle. Right? Go out and make this day the best, and then do it again tomorrow. Talk to you next time.